I got my own room, so I'll speak a bit. And then after that, we move into apartment 4A, and the rest is history.
We'll be going live on Facebook next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Till next time, guys, we'll holler at you. Peace.
All right, good evening, and welcome to Apartment 4A. We are back with another good one. How everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Doing good.
Yes, sir.
Doing great.
Doing good. Can't complain, man.
You can always complain, but it won't.
No, people don't stay around too long. You start complaining.
Nah, they ain't gonna listen too long.
Yeah, shout out to a good old Full Circle. We'll probably get them a highlight at some point for the intro music and the video. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Every week we learn something a little new, so we'll bring something new every time. So hope y'all enjoyed the little intro.
Hey, baby. Ashley says she like it.
Oh yeah. Appreciate everybody.
She might be a little biased though, you know.
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit.
She might not be able to tell her she don't like.
Oh no, it's 2022. If you don't like it, she'll let us know, man.
I mean, we get a little feedback. It doesn't mean.
Okay, I thought it was me for a second.
Let me mute this.
Yeah, I think it's weird.
Yeah, that's Eric.
All right. Swap this mic out real quick.
The tech gentleman strikes again.
What's up, Brandon, man? That's my brother-in-law. Welcome, man. Welcome to the show. We appreciate you joining us this week. He down on good old coast of Mississippi. He actually might be in New Orleans this week. He play in a live band. We might have to check him out sometime.
Okay. Well, this week I'm supposed to be hosting, right?
Oh yeah, it's on you, boss. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm hosting. And like every week for the first 6 episodes, we're supposed to we're introducing one of the podcast members. So this week is going to be we're going to talk about Eric going to be our focus, Mr. Kelly. So as soon as he get his mic together, we'll hop right into it. But the topic today, I think we kind of finalized what the topic is going to be about, and it's supposed to be about financial security, being financially secured. We at the point where we all are kind of settled in our careers, and we probably should know by now how our future, how our retirement is going to look in some form or some fashion. So we just want to give you a little insight on what we are doing and how we are managing this the field of finance as young Black millennials. And once Eric get back on, we'll hop right into it. But while Eric is getting himself together, hey Eric, you there?
Yes, sir. How's it sound?
Okay, you sound much better.
I appreciate it.
So Eric, if you can introduce yourself, and then we're gonna go around, and everybody gonna give a little story on how they met Eric. Just if not how they met Eric, it's a funny story about Eric over the past almost 20 plus years of knowing him.
Ooh, this is gonna be rough. All right. So if you don't know, my name is Eric Kelly. Born in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Actually, while my parents attended the University of Southern Mississippi. When I was 4, moved to I'll be specific. Moved to Lithonia, Georgia. And then later moved to Stone Mountain, Georgia. I normally would just say Atlanta, but you know, people being real specific now. So after I graduated high school, went to Southern Miss in 2003, where initially I was majoring in electronics engineering technology. Ended up switching schools and majoring in computer information systems, and did IT work for a little while, and eventually in cybersecurity, where I work now for PEO Missiles and Space as the cyber lead for the Sentinel radar system. So it's been an interesting journey. And we live in Huntsville now as well, me and my wife, Ashley, who also made a Southern Miss. So Southern Miss kind of been a theme throughout my family, and, you know, kind of blessed me in more ways than one. I obviously met a lot of these guys here, lifelong friends, met my life partner. Just created some great memories there as well.
You gonna talk about your kids here? You got kids, don't you?
Yeah, man. When we talked about the fatherhood thing, you know, the kids sleep. I ain't want to risk disturbing them, you know. But yeah, I got two beautiful daughters. A 2-year-old who will be 3 next month, and a 6-year-old. Life changing, man. Terrence said it best when I first had kids. When I got ready to have kids, I called Terrence, and he was like, "Man, look, your wife, she love you and she like you sometimes too. But your kids, man, especially your daughters." The way they look at you, nobody's ever gonna look at you like that, ever. And he is not being wrong about that, man. I get the joy of picking my 2-year-old up from daycare every day. Every day she sees me. Every day, screams, running at the top of her lungs, "Daddy!" Like, it's just a little boost every day, man. So yeah.
Well, enjoy that right now, because when they turn 13, they turn a little bit. They a little bit different.
Hey, I made sure to record her doing it one time, so I got that tucked away. I can look at it when she get older.
So you remember this? You remember this?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to J. Key, Jonathan Key Ivory. He's gonna tell how he knows how he met, or a good story about E. Kelly.
Oh, let's see, a good story about Kelly that I can actually tell over the podcast.
That's very important.
Very important.
I think Aaron met me a lot of times. I don't know, we did a lot. Oh, a good story about Eric. Eric called me not too long before my wedding to tell me. I said, Eric, we got rehearsal Friday night. You gonna be in town? Eric said, Jake, you need to change your date. Can you do it another week? I think you're going to the zoo, and I'm like, but Eric, the wedding like Saturday. He's like, what? So Eric wasn't able to be in the wedding because he had to go outside. In return, he kept me out of here. But it's all good though.
Oh, that's what happened? Oh no. Now J.K. froze up. Okay, that's cool. I see how it is.
He froze up, put himself on pause. One of them. Smart move. Smart move.
Is it back?
It's back. You back. We're gonna go to JP. JP, tell us how you know Eric, when you met Eric, a story about Mr. Kelly. Oh. Jay, we probably should have did a sound test with Jay. We probably should have did a sound test with JP. JP,
oh yeah, he on the struggle bus.
Yeah.
As JP get himself together, we're gonna slide.
He got his daughter headphones on.
We're gonna slide over to Willie, Mr. Willie D.
All right, let me take this mute off. About Eric. I can tell you one of the main things I remember about Eric, and I hadn't actually met Eric yet. Was of course, again, me, Eric, and Rod met in the Pride of Mississippi Southern Miss Band. But before I met Eric, I always wondered who was this one black guy on campus riding this bike everywhere. And then one day he pops up in my dorm room. I'm like, oh, you the black bike guy. He's like, yeah. That's me.
I forgot all about that bike, man.
Hey, you used to get it on that bike. But that's one of my first moments I really remember by Eric. I can give so many moments as we all can, but I can give one of our saddest moments and one of our happiest moments. One of the saddest moments when Eric had to leave. That was kind of rough, I think, for the group because we were kind of all gelling and kind of, becoming one. And then Eric left. But then at the same time, when Eric came back, it was a great feeling because like he was coming back, he didn't give up, came back, and he hopped right back in the group like nothing ever happened. So that's some of my fond memories of Mr. Eric Kelly.
JP, you good now?
Yes, I'm back. Like Jordan, wearing the 4-5. Yes, I'm here. Drop mic. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Like we said, all of you guys, y'all was there before I was. I came a year later. So I heard the stories about Eric. I heard of the legend before I met the man. So I forgot we was somewhere on the yard. I think it was me and Willie or me and Rod, someone, we was on the yard together, and it was like, oh, hey, there's Eric. Eric's back. I said, oh, hey, Eric, JB Eric, and boom. Ever since then, we took off. But it's like we knew him. I knew him before I even met him, which was amazing. We talked earlier about how the cell phone issue, and we were just trying to call and talk, and could never get in contact with him. But I mean, that's really how Eric and I first met. We just ran into him on the yard, like, hey, there go Eric again. And ever since then, I mean, we bonded as if we knew each other for 10 years. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was just amazing, the connection that we had. And so that's the ironic story about me running into Eric. And like I said, we've been clicking ever since.
Gotcha. Mr. Rod T, Mr. Thurman, Mr. T.
What's good, man? Appreciate it. Yeah, same thing with everybody. When Eric left, we really thought we was gonna lose him, man. We spent all summer looking up Eric Kelly because we knew his dad or whatnot, trying to find a number to see if he was gonna be able to come back. And so we really was trying to look out for that guy. A funny memory from Eric. I'll tell you mine, the one that happened to me. Me and Eric, after we left apartment 4A, we went to a 2-bedroom apartment. And I was actually in the 2-bedroom apartment with a young lady, had her sitting there. We were sitting there just conversating, doing whatever. And there was another young lady that I guess I was kind of talking to or trying to figure out what I was going to do with one of the other. So me and this young lady sitting here having a good time. And Eric goes to the door with the other girl. He called me. And she didn't text or nothing. Ain't no other girl. I'm like,
Rod didn't give me no signals or nothing. He gave me no text. I didn't know he had no little situation going or nothing.
Plead the fifth.
Look, that's one part of it. So he comes in with the other chick. He come in first. He come in the door first. And I didn't know the girl behind him. He come in, he look at me, look at the girl sitting on the couch, go in this room, close the door. Just leave me out there.
Oh no, man.
It was all fun and games though, man. It was all good. It all worked out for the good, but that's always a good funny story from here.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was cold-blooded. My introduction to Mr. Kelly, me and Eric had a class together, our very first semester, C++, computer programming. I thought I wanted to be a computer programmer. After that class, I realized I didn't. But the class was talking about a foreign lady who had a very monotone voice, and she liked to turn the lights out and do a presentation. So I think that was the perfect mood for a nap. But I'm paying all this money for school. I'm not about to wake up early in the morning to go to class and take a nap. That was I said, if I'm going to be in there, I want to at least try to learn. But that wasn't everybody mind frame. Eric used to come in late, get in the middle of the dead center of the class. He'll get all this stuff out. He'd get ready to go and get the information. So turn the light off. Eric sit there, fold his arms, and go right to sleep. I mean, not like a nap, like a put your head down. He is just like this, propped up. He is sleeping hard. I mean,
she was setting the mood every day, man. Doing that ASMR talking. That was a torture test.
I said, how disrespectful is this? How dare this fella come to class and just go to sleep like that? And so I'm talking about it. I said, this one guy come to class, go straight to sleep. And I see this fella walk into the room and say, oh, Mr. Sleepy over there. And so since then, we've been cool ever since, and have a couple of stories here and there about us trying to study, but we ain't gonna talk about that. I think Riley brought it up because he was mad that we were trying to learn and try to be better students, but he didn't want to be part of it. He thinks that us learning the way our learning technique is below him, and asked us to leave the room.
We most definitely not going to. Some jokers came in this room.
I like I tell you, he's changing the narrative.
They came in the room
a little bit,
and they wanted to study. I had no problem with them studying. That's fine. They are in the room 1 o'clock in the morning arguing over who right and who wrong. They are arguing.
Right, man.
I'm like, man, we got class tomorrow. What y'all doing? They are fighting over who right and who wrong. Then the test come, and one of them, I ain't gonna say which one. One of them didn't even go take the test. What you doing? They don't all night, kept me up all night. It didn't
all night. All night.
Oh,
I say this, man. Terrence took notes last week because he's super loud this week. He's trying to make sure he's right.
One of our ongoing rules of the apartment 4A is the loudest person is the right person. So I had to make sure I got good headphones and my mic was good, just so I can be the loudest person on this call. But we're about to jump right into the topic for the week. The topic for the week is financial security. I can't read. I'm on my phone, so I can't read what it says. So, Eric, you want to read that?
Yeah. Ashley says Eric will show up late and leave early from class. That's my first memory, and I didn't even know his name. He said right in front of me. I was like, and that was calculus, I think.
And she still married you, boy. I don't know what you did.
Hey,
that's got to be love, right?
Hey, yeah, that's love. It's the beard, man.
That's got to be love. So financial security. I think before we get into the whole topic of financial security, what is y'all definition? What is y'all personal definition of financial security? We're gonna start with the main person who came up with the topic, Mr. Kelly, and we'll just move our way around from there.
To me, financial security is just ensuring that your family is able to survive financial hardships. It kind of has a plan for the future financially, whether that be saving for college or retirement, rainy day funds, that kind of thing, and also investing as well.
Okay, Mr. JP, what's your definition of financial security?
He went back to his daughter's headphones.
Hey, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we got Sailor Moon headphones.
We good?
Okay,
yeah, I'm sorry. Leave me alone. Leave me headphones. It was working the other day. I tried to test it out. But financial security, save the money for this war that's going to go into. That's financial security. Putting the money under the bed, putting the money under the mattress. That's financial security. Because no, I'm just joking. But in reality, like you said, just my definition of financial security is just being able to live comfortably, than where you started from. Having good credit score, like I said, being able to invest and not over budgeting yourself. That's basically financial security, not depleting your own personal budget. but living within your means.
Okay, I like it.
Mr. Put money up on your mattress.
Buried in the backyard in a pickle jar. Willie D, what's your definition of financial security?
Financial security. I think this is a very sensitive topic for some people, and I think it's a very well needed topic. But to me, kind of what Eric said, it means a plan. Whether it's a plan for you as an individual or it's a plan for you and your family as a whole, it's a plan so that you are able to live. We all know to survive and make it in this world, you do need finances, and you need to be able to maintain those finances and save finances and also increase your finances. So it's a very multi-layered plan that takes time. So that's what it means to me.
Okay. Mr. J. Key, how do you define financial security?
I'll be honest, I'm still trying to figure it out. I've been working in school this 16 years and I ain't figured out yet. My financial security is just making from day to day. I guess I'm in the beginning stages of trying to be secure, because every time I get 5 cents, I got to spend 10 cents to make something else happen. So I'm still learning. Maybe y'all teach me, because I'm still learning.
Okay, thanks for your honesty. Thanks for your honesty and openness, Mr. Rod T.
Yeah, I did what everybody's saying. Most definitely, it's a plan for the future. It's a plan for your loved ones, a plan for when you're gone. It's also a day-to-day learning process, like Jay Key said. It's a lot of stuff that you know now, and a lot of stuff that we learn as we gotten older. But at the same time, it's a continuation of knowledge, because finances change, man. Things happen, but for the most part, it's just being prepared, and you just got to be prepared for the unknown.
At age 30, 37, 38, I think all of us 36, 37, what should your credit score be? What do you believe a good credit score is at our age?
Well, I tell you for sure, most mortgage companies and car loans would like you to be in the 700 range. But if you at minimum 650, you're actually doing pretty good. A lot of people like to say that you're not, but 650 is actually pretty well, especially for younger people who most of the time don't have established credit. But the ideal is to get to 700 or above.
640 can get you a house.
Yeah.
640 get you a house.
Yeah.
So, but Rod, you saying 650 is a good number, having that little buffer between over 640.
Yeah. You don't want to be at the minimum. You want
to. Yeah. I think it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish at the time. Like you were saying, you can get a house for 640. Obviously, you want to get the best rate. But I would say, 680, because then that way, if something does happen, you still got a little buffer, because anything can pop up, like random bill or something like that. Something you didn't know about, especially if you've been in out the hospital or something like that. Medical bills, they've been a nightmare because they just pop up a year later. They might send them to you, might not. So having like a little buffer to where you can, have something like that pop up and still be able to do what you're trying to do.
So I'm one of the people who started my credit off wrong. So going to USM, they offering us all kind of little credit cards and stuff. First thing I did was bought a $500 t-shirt press and some desks. What I was gonna do with some desks, I remember telling Willie, I want these desks. Willie like,
I was saving that store.
What you gonna do with some desks? I like it for my Sunday school class at the church. And you're like, bro, you waste your money on some desks. So I ended up somehow bagging out of eBay on doing that. But I did buy the $500 t-shirt press that I still got today that I don't think really worked. But I still got that, and I paid on it up until probably 3-4 years ago.
So that's how bad I messed up my credit. So
that's how they get you, man.
If I knew then what I knew now, I would have had a way better credit score.
What would you tell college students, brand new college students, getting ready to come into seniors right now, getting ready to go into school next fall? What would you tell them once they get out there as a freshman?
My mom told me don't sign up for no credit cards, and I said, well, Mom, I need to have one, and then I ended up with 2, and then I ended up with 3. So I would say, do not sign up for no credit card, even if they offer it to you. Don't sign up for them.
What's the danger of credit cards as a freshman in college?
If you don't know how to handle them, you'll go buy $100 shoes and $100 pants. So that's what I did. I did that too.
Well, I mean, with the whole credit card thing, it kind of just depends on you as a student. I mean, if you're coming into college as a freshman, if you're going to get a job, if you're going to work towards that credit card bill and try to manage it, I can understand that. Now, if you're just coming in and it's a emergency card, you know, say your parents or you get for yourself for emergencies, that's what it should be used for. But like credit card, student loans, it's when you're in college and you just going to class and you just going through the day to day, it's so easy to accept. They send you this brand new card in your student mailbox. Like, oh, I can get this now? Yeah. Or you go to the financial aid office, you just checking on something. Well, have you looked up this Parent Plus, this computer loan you can get? Like, no, sign. So to piggyback off the question what Terrence stated about college, I would try to be mindful of all financial moves you make in college, because they will stick with you. They're not going anywhere. So you will have to deal with them at some point in your life.
Yep. I completely agree. I want to touch on the topic of student loans. I want to hear 2 point of views of student loans. I want to hear Rod's point of view of student loans. So I think Rod was the smartest of all of us with student loans. And I want to hear JP idea of student loans. I'm not sure how JP did student loans, but I know how Rod did them. So we're gonna start with Rod, and we're gonna go to JP on his take on student loans.
So I got pretty lucky because my mom by trade is she works in finance. She works for the Mississippi Department of Finance now, and she's always been in finance everywhere she went. She got a master's in finance, and so my mom really helped me to understand of what credit was and how the student loans work and whatnot. So when I came to school, the first thing I did was sign up for work study. And all the fellas know I went to class and then I was working in the RHA Center. And every check that I got, I didn't even cash it. I signed the back of it and turned it back over to the university to go directly on my bill. And so by the time I finished with school, between scholarships, work study, and everything, when I finished with school, I was able to write a check and pay off all my student loans. So I'm student loan free right now. Unfortunately, I did pay for them, but I was lucky enough to get into programs. I had scholarships, I work studied, and I just went ahead and paid it all off up front. I only had to take out 2 small loans. A lot of things that people get caught up into in school is I'll get these loans and you're going to get this refund check. And everybody get the biggest loan they can get to get this refund. I'm telling you, it's not worth it because you got to pay that money back. I went through school my whole time. I never got a refund check. And I came out just fine. It doesn't matter. Everybody was buying the new stuff. I just didn't have. I just had to do without. It is what it is. But, it sounds good and when you first get it. But at the end, you're going to end up paying it back anyway. So,
Mr. JP, what's your take on student loans?
Well, back then it was Sally K. Was it Sally Mae?
Sally Mae. I know very well.
Me and her didn't get along pretty good, Like Rod said, you get my situation is kind of different, My family, I had to take out student loans in order for me to go to school. I was out of all of my siblings, I was the second one to actually go to school and to get my degree. And you know, my mom and dad worked in the factory, and you know, rural Mississippi. So you know, they didn't have, you know, financial stability in regards of you know, having money put back for me to go to school. So, and I didn't work, but you know, in college, but you know, only thing they told me was, you know, when we get ready to go to school, when I graduate, I'm gonna have to be responsible for paying my student loan. And so by getting into the teaching field, there's so many grants and so many I say kickbacks that we receive in regards of paying off or paying down our loan. So Sally Mae and I, well, it's not Sally Mae. Sally Mae, she left me. Now I'm dealing with this person called Fed Loans. So we still have a great relationship. We in fact we talk once a month. But you know, it's to the point. It's mind balloon to the point because I don't just have my bachelor's. I have my specialist. So even even when I went to get my master's and my specialist, I still had to take out loans in order for me to get where I am at today. And you know, it's old saying, in order to make money, you gotta spend money. And so that's what we're doing. You know, I'm still having to pay back those student loans because they're like more than a house payment. You know, so you know, that's where we at. You know, I will say this though, going back to the credit cards and all that stuff, you got to do what you got to do to build your credit score up, such as the loans and stuff you take in the credit card. But you just got to keep paying them. I mean, you just got to keep paying on them, putting something on them, because what we don't know, especially as African Americans, you know, as much money as you got is good, but credit rules the world, you know, and nobody teaches. I know. Well, let me phrase it. Growing up in rural Oklahoma, Mississippi, no one taught me anything about credit. You know, we didn't know about credit. We were just talking about green cash money. So when you get your student loans, make sure you monitor them, and just as soon as you get through with them, you know, I didn't have a plan like Rod because nobody told me, but just got to start paying on them.
I know I didn't have a plan like Rod either. I tried to develop a plan right there in the middle, and by joining the military, and it was good at first. But I think I started off kind of rough, and I started out real rough. But I ended up by the end, I stopped taking loans out. The military was paying for my schools, and then they was putting money in my pocket. So there's a lot of different routes. I wish I would have started out with that route. It would have been a whole lot better. But hey, you live and you learn. You live and you learn. So another topic I want to talk about, another little thing I want to talk about is home ownership or renting. I know Eric got a really good setup with his with buying and selling and buying houses. And I know Willie, I know y'all a little new to moving to Clinton, Mississippi. Willie, if you can start off, tell us how the home buying process was for you. And Eric, if you can share about yours, and I want to hear Rod talk about him building his house from the ground up. We'll just go with y'all three on home ownership.
All right, home ownership. Home ownership was definitely something I always wanted to have and get. And like Terrence said, we moved to Clinton almost about two years now. But we were coming from Horn Lake, Mississippi, in which we were renting, and we were actually looking at homes to purchase, but we were trying to get out of Horn Lake. That's a whole nother story. But process of buying a house, for me, it was new. I had never looked into it. I actually started out when we talked about credit scores and debt and all that. I was actually very hesitant to even apply because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get the best rate. I'm not gonna get the best loan, you know. So, and actually, when I was looking at Horn Lake, the process didn't go well at all. But when we were getting ready to move to Clinton, I moved to Clinton first before my wife and kids came, and I stayed with some friends. But in that process, I started the house hunting process. and I got with a good mortgage officer at the bank that I bank with. And the lady really helped me out. She walked me through the whole process. I laid everything out front, what was going on my end as far as finances, job. I was getting a new job. Like I say, student loans debt, put it all out there. And she was like, well, let me work the numbers and see what we can do. And she got back with me, and everything was good. You know, the process was kind of long for me because, or maybe I just wasn't. My patience was being tried because I was trying to get my family moved and get everybody settled because we were at the point where we wanted to settle somewhere. We were tired of renting and moving. But the lady that I worked with at the bank, she helped me through the process. I looked at several homes before we ended up on the one in Clinton. And the one in Clinton, the first time I went and looked at it, it was the one that we wanted. And just so happened the previous owners had just moved out, and we were the first people to actually bid on the house. So we looked up by the first one. They took our bid, and all that went great. The process was good. So as far as me going through the process of home ownership, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, to put it like that. You got to at least try. You may get a no, we can work with you. We may get, you can pick whatever house you want, but you got to at least try and talk to them. So that was kind of how the process went for me.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Real estate mogul.
Nah, not at all, man. To be honest, I was kind of like Willie initially. Back in 2015, before we had our first kid, I know actually Ashley was like very adamant about us having a house before the kid came. And to me at the time, I was like, well, we stay in a nice apartment. It's kind of, stable. I didn't have an issue with it, but in order to take care of her concerns, we went ahead and went house hunting, and we had an interesting process, kind of like Willie was mentioning. Basically, we were looking at some houses, and we got approved and put the house under contract, and literally like the week before closing, they came to us and were like, hey, you guys make too much money for this particular loan product that we told you 2 months ago that you qualify for. So now you actually have to come out of pocket like an extra 6 racks, or else you can't close next week. And granted, we had put some money aside for a down payment, but when we got the original loan product, it was like, well, you can get a house 0 down. So of course we're making plans. Oh yeah, we're gonna get this furniture and get that bedroom set and all of this. And so that was like a very jarring process, because literally the loan went to the mortgage company, came back, everything was good. And when they sent it to the underwriter, I remember this is some dude in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, never seen us, never talked to us or nothing. He was like, well, y'all's potential to make this amount of money is, is too high. So you don't qualify for this. Even though you ain't making it now, in the future, you might make more. So you don't qualify anymore, which was just like, it kind of like in my mind made me think back about like the struggles of people in the past, especially Black people trying to get houses. And you think about that process of literally just one person just saying no, and there's nothing you can do about it for whatever reason. Like they don't have to explain themselves to you. They don't have to, have any logic or rhyme or reason. But luckily, like I said, we did have some money set aside and we paid it, and got our first house. It was a nice house, kind of out in the rural area a little bit. And here recently, what was this 20? Man, it's hard to keep up. 2020. We kind of got to a point where the house we were renting originally got 2 kids now. It's kind of getting tight. So we kind of decided whether we were going to expand or if we were going to get another home. Ultimately, we decided on just expanding our current home we had. But one of my friends, he called me one day. He's like, hey, man, I need you to come look at a piece of land with me. And I'm like, okay. So he took me. We looked at it, and it was in a nice neighborhood. It was actually a little bit closer to town than we were at before. And I saw of course there's no house there, so it's all grass. And he started walking a lot. And I noticed that he just kept going and going. I'm like, is this all your lot? He was like, yeah, man. They said from this tree all the way to the road, that'll be my lot. And he started telling me the price. And it was a production builder, so they had like outlined all the stuff you can get for the house. And I'm looking at it and, looking at the price, looking at the lot. And by the time we finished walking, I was like, I need one of these. And so we went back to Ashley, talked to her about it. And of course, she had been wanting to move already. And so she was on board with it, especially when she looked at everything that came with it. And ended up working with my homie's realtor. And she did a market analysis. And at the time, like I said, we were getting ready to expand our house. So I was kind of making upgrades. I pulled up some shrubbery, knocked down some fence, put some new fence up, hadn't stained it yet. And the market in 2020 was so crazy. When she came out, she was like, if you want to fix all this stuff, you can, but you got 4 walls on the roof, it's going to sell. Like, it don't matter what you do to it. Like, you can sell it as is. And of course, it's been our first time actually selling a house. We're kind of apprehensive. Like, oh no, we got to at least clean it up good and all this stuff. And like literally, it was my daughter's birthday that I think Friday or Saturday. I think it was that Friday. And no, it was that Saturday. So we had the party Saturday, and she came out and she put the sign in the yard that Sunday. And Monday, we had 2 people come look at the house. And the house wasn't even on Zillow, wasn't even on the market really yet. And by Wednesday, it was sold. And we were just kind of in a whirlwind, like, just kind of in shock about selling it that easily. Of course, the lady we sold it to was, a nightmare. And also Ashley's mom is a realtor as well. So she kind of like looked over it and we kind of bounced off of her what the realtor was telling us. And, she was, pretty much on the up and up. But I mean, just the speed at which everything sold was crazy. And then the house we're in now, we actually built from the ground up. It was a production build, so it wasn't 100% custom, but that was a learning process as well. I mean, it took almost a year for us to get in the house. And then, if you haven't built the house before, there's a lot of stuff you don't know. So you're kind of out here looking at, trying not to go out here every day. But of course, when things slow up, you curious, wow, hey, where everybody at? Sun's out, weather's good, what's going on?
Every day.
Every day. You got your little checklist of stuff that's supposed to go in the house. Stuff don't seem right. On the one hand, you kind of think, well, they got the same checklist you got, so it makes sense. They'll just go down the list, put the stuff in it. But then you come to realize, no, we got to check behind them. We got to make sure they're actually putting the stuff in here that's supposed to go in here, because the reality is, really, it's just one guy who is hiring out a bunch of different crews, and the crews got 10 houses to go to, and they just checking the houses off their list. So if they come to your house is house A, and they come to your house, put house B stuff in it and leave. They just tell the guy, all right, we did the windows, we gone. You go out there, it's wrong windows. We painted wrong color paint, something like that. So it's definitely been interesting process. But it's kind of over now. I don't have any desire to move ever again.
Moving is never easy. Never easy.
Hey, man,
I did a lot of it.
Hey, look, so before me and Ashley got married, I moved just about every year, because you'd be in an apartment and the lease would come up, and there'd always be like these little deals on like the next lease at a different apartment. But once we kind of, got stable, you just start amassing a whole lot of stuff, man. Like when you're moving often, you don't really amass a lot of stuff. You stay in the house for 5-6 years, and then you look up and move. You got a whole lot more stuff than you came in there with.
Whole lot.
And then now the house we in is even bigger. I'm like, oh Lord,
you're gonna add even more stuff.
Yeah, I'm not trying to move all this stuff.
But Mr. Thurman, like I said, Rod had a plan for school with student loan, but Rod also had a plan for building his first house. Tell us about your process of building your house from the ground up, Mr. Thurman.
So I was always taught, or at least I want to say I was taught this, but I learned this coming up that the most valuable thing that you can have is property, because they ain't making no more earth. All the earth that's out here is out here. So if you can get you some property, hold on to it. And so in my family, I was given 2 acres of land right after I got married in 2012. And so our whole plan was like, hey, we're gonna build a house. We got this land, we're gonna build a house, we're gonna be good to go, no problem. It's family land, whatever. Um, Not knowing to us that we had this little thing called an easement that you had to have. And so I had to go through this whole process of getting the easement. It took me 6 years to get the easement just to be able to start building my house. And that really had me to really think about what financial security was, because I had to go get a lawyer. There was court fees, Evans fee, and all these other fees. And I had to pay this out of my pocket. All the money I thought I was going to have to put down on this and do this and make my house this way, I was spending it just trying to get the easy. And I had some help. I'll admit I had some help from family, but stuff still had to be paid, and that was a whole nother expense in itself. You know, I thought I was in a rural area. I got ready to build to find out that we had just been annexed, and now we're in the city. So it's a whole different set of permits. I got 2 house plans. So if somebody want to build a house, I got a whole nother set of house plans, totally different house. Because every time I got ready to do something, I hit a roadblock. And if I didn't have the mindset to understand to put back some money, to be prepared, you know, for these little hiccups, man, I'd have never got finished. Like I said, I got my property in 2012. We moved in our house in 2017. My son was born in September. We moved in October. Now my wife, she not just like Eric, she said that, hey, I want to have a child until we can move into our house, because we was renting before. And we just got lucky, was able to move in basically 30 days after he was born. But I mean, we had all types of little stuff. It was a hurricane happened during our house build, so we went like 30 days with no power because energy was gone, connecting power to all the hard hit areas, so nobody could set a pole in my yard. So my house was done complete, and I couldn't get the power connected because the energy literally wasn't in the state.
Yeah, I remember that, man. That's crazy.
And so, you know, you just got to be. It's not a hard process, especially when you think about building a house. It's not really that hard. You just like Willie said, you got to be prepared, and you got to be willing to step out there and try it. When I refinanced my house, I ain't been in there that long, and I was just like Willie. I was like, man, I don't know. You know, even though my mama told me better, I got a couple of credit cards too. And like, man, you know, my credit score may not be as good, and I just went out there and tried it, and they were like, man, y'all got excellent credit. What you talking about? And you know, get these interest rate down. So it all worked out. But if you're interested in building a house, I say go for it, man. You get property, even if you buying a house, it don't matter. If you can get property, is the most valuable thing that you can physically have.
So that's one thing that's not growing anything more of.
That's right.
What they have is what they have. Let's talk about side hustles. Yeah, what side hustle do y'all have, and what do y'all recommend as a side hustle to keep a little spending money in your hand? I know the side hustle king is Jonathan Key. If he has a list of them, and he got so Jonathan, as over these past couple of years, what has been your most successful side hustle? Then from Jonathan, from JQ, and go to Eric. Eric is a side hustle king as well. He dabbled his hands in just about everything.
So I started like when I was 15. I started hustling, trying to make some money. But I started in the church. Cause see, that's where you can make the money from. So I started.
He started his whole all wrong.
Yep. We got to wrap this up.
Let's change it.
Well, we just got counted.
So
continue, Jakey.
Hey, but I started like I started doing business card for pastors. I started doing programs for churches. And from there, I started doing T-shirts for family reunions. I mean, I was selling business cards in high school to people who just wanted a business card for some reason. I don't know why. And then, so now I'm doing funeral programs. I'm doing weddings. I'm doing whatever you can think of. I'm building stuff.
Signs for businesses.
Man, whatever you need, I probably can do, because I'm just figured out. One time I was changing people what you call them thing, them sockets in they trucks and their vehicles. I mean, I do whatever I can to make
shade tree mechanic.
You a whole electrician out here.
Hey, I just changed the socket at my mama's house a few weeks ago. So let's see how that go out. I might be in the tree after a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pray for your mama.
I'm gonna call and check on your mama.
Yeah, do that for sure.
but also, if you ever need a floor plan, a house plan, JK hook you up on that too.
Hey, me and Willie working. We work together on that. You know, I draw
he'll sketch it all out for you. Mr. Kelly, what's some of your side hustles you got that's been very productive over the years?
I don't know about productive, but I say they've been fun. I mean, starting out like in high school, like where everybody else was working at McDonald's and stuff like that, I was cutting grass. So the idea of just doing something kind of, out of the ordinary, kind of made sense. But then once you kind of get, kind of drink the Kool-Aid of, where you got to get a good job and that's the way you do things, you kind of fall into that. But even while I was at Southern Miss, I know me and Rod, we started CPR, computer problem resolution. And, we had that going for a little while. And then even here at Huntsville, started Kelly Technology Services. I did kind of break fix stuff and actually did like kind of app software stuff. But then we had kids, so that, kind of got put on pause. But the whole time, probably since 2014 or so, I started doing YouTube. So I do like tech reviews on YouTube. And to be honest, I just did it to get free stuff. Like I was buying stuff anyway. And one day I was watching a guy, he was like, if you're going to do YouTube to make money, don't do that, because you ain't going to really make no money. It's a shot in the dark for tech. But if you want free stuff, do YouTube. All right. YouTube is a great way to get free stuff. So I started doing that. And it wasn't long. I mean, I was getting like little free cases here and there and stuff like that. But it's been great. I mean, right now I'm a official ambassador for Google. So I get all of Google's products to review and stuff like that. I got a couple of the partnerships with like some case companies. Before LG went under, I partnered with them a couple times. So it's been interesting from that front. And even Ashley, like she's got her own planner and sticker store that she does, and she's been blowing up here lately. But just my advice would be, if there's something that you like, just try to figure out some way to monetize it. That's kind of the route I'm going down right now. Like I just started a Twitch channel because I like playing video games. So it's like if I could play and make money, I'll do that too. Even the little video editing skills I got from doing YouTube videos. I just had a company hit me up because they saw my Instagram post, and right now I'm in the process of applying for, I don't know what you would call it because it's a job I didn't even know existed, but basically a company that partners you up with manufacturers of products for you to make little 15, 30, or 60-second ads for them. And you see them the ad and you get paid. And so when you go on Amazon or go on like a product website and they have like a little video clip that's a couple of seconds kind of advertising their product, like that might be made here in my crib, depending on the company. And, just it's the internet has changed everything, man. Like it really has. Like if it's some way to make some money off of something, it's a video or something out there showing you how to do it, man.
And you can do it and make money from it.
Yeah,
we're gonna wrap it up with retirement. J Key and JP probably are the closest to retirement, as in because they got into the to the retirement system so soon, and they did what a lot of folks they were smart about it, because if they did change the job, they didn't take their money out the retirement system. They let it stay in there. They let it rot. And now they probably the closest of all of us to retirement, to get a paycheck when they get done with their career and start a whole new career. So we're gonna start with J Key. Tell us about your retirement plan and how it looks, and then we're gonna end with JP.
As of right now, I have 16 years in with the state. I'll be going into my 17th year in August. So after August, I have 8 years left where I can retire at 25 years. I'll be 46. So that's my plan. And then what I do after that, I don't know, because I know I'm still have to work for insurance. So I want to be able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, and I had to punch anybody's clock. So hopefully the Lord allows me to see 8 more years and 9 more years or whatever, so I can leave the district, leave out of the state, and get me into something different. JP can thank me for bringing him into it. You know, I helped him get in while everybody else was telling me I was crazy for driving a bus. And I mean, it's been real beneficial like that. I really appreciate that I've been able to stay with it, because after the first year, I thought I was going to have to leave because kids was different. But I've been able to stick through it, so I'm happy about that. It's not a lot of money at the state, but I'm happy with it.
But the retirement, you can have a check for the rest of your life, and
right.
8 years, and you can.
And then I'll get a 13 check that I'm looking forward to.
Well, that's a whole nother topic. If y'all don't know about the 13 check, that is a hidden gem in the PERS system. But that's a long process to really understand.
Okay,
so JP, tell us about your retirement situation and your plans for the future.
Well, like Johnny Key said, he did get us in, because I will say this, going back, you hear about people retiring, but now that I'm halfway there, by me starting driving the bus, that gave me an extra year in. So like I said, in 9 to 10 years, I can hang it up. But if I go 12, I can get that big, nice lump sum. So, just like everybody's saying about their side hustle, I can't, by me working, my schedule is not like anybody else. I'm up working probably 7 in the morning, and sometimes I get off 7, 8 at night. So the opportunity to do other things, work part-time job, is slim to none. So what I'm banking on, once I get to my age of retirement, I'll still be pretty young. I don't know the exact age, but I know I'll probably be less than 50, younger than 50. So then I can go ahead and start my second endeavor. One thing I know that I'm not doing, if the Lord will and the Lord allow me, I don't see myself jumping back into the education aspect, but getting another job, such as, doing something that I like, and Eric touched best, if you do stuff that you like, you don't consider it work, it's enjoyment. So being able to work a true 9 to 5, or being able to work as a local sales rep, or just working just a regular common Joe job, like you said, I'm actually looking forward to that, so that's my plan in retirement. I'm really excited and anxious, because like I said, I'm right now at the halfway point. I came too far to turn around. So, and I also been looking at some of my mentors, James St. Patrick and Franklin Saint. In regards, I'm just saying.
Turner looks like he's back on you.
but I will say this in reality, though, my son is 2, and I always wanted to I coached my nephews, and I always wanted to, and with him, my daughters, they go to different school. I always wanted to coach my children. I really did. And by them being girls, I haven't had the opportunity to, because I'm doing football. But I'm thinking, if I can, because right now he's 2, and if I can hang on for 13 and kind of just see him and just coach him a little bit, and then I could go ahead and, like I said, get that check. And you work now to live later. You know what I mean? So, if my family know we got that income coming in, it can bump us up to where we at, And like I said, I'll still be young as well.
I hear you. So we're gonna wrap it up with what is one thing that you would tell your 18-year-old self about finance if you had the chance to? What is that one thing you'll tell your 18-year-old self about finance if you had a chance to tell your 18-year-old self, this is what you need to do to make sure that you are financially secure 18 years from now? We're gonna start with Mr. Rod Thurman.
I would say, especially when I started working after I got my degree and started working, you're never too young to start retirement. I give a shout out to the young lady Danielle Malum. If she's watching, that's a little plug for her. When I was working at Dream, she used to tell me every year you need to get into the retirement program. And I was like, oh man, I got time. And she convinced me after being there 2 years to go ahead and start my 403B. And since then, like I'm a avid person of, starting retirement as soon as you can, because you don't want to be in a situation where you started too late. But the ideal is the younger you started, it is not just you're going to have more at the end, but your investment grows at a different rate the younger you started. And so that 20 years from 30 to 50 is different from them 20 years from 20 to 40. So most definitely do that. And for everyone, my little side note, for everyone who don't have retirement, just have some type of plan. We got to get out of this. Somebody passed and we got to do fish fry and start GoFundMe to bury people or to pay bills or whatnot. I mean, we got to set ourselves up for something. I'm not saying that you got to have like $1 million insurance policy or nothing like that, but man, don't leave here and leave your family with nothing. Make sure you have them at least set aside for something, whatever way you got to do it. I'm not gonna tell you what way to do it, but whatever way you got to do it, set them up.
Set them up for success. Mr. Willie D, what would you tell your 18-year-old self about being about how to be financially secure 18 years later?
Oh, my 18-year-old self, I would probably say, kind of like I mentioned earlier, focus more on the financial movements that I made during college and even after college. Like I said, at this point in my life, I'm in a pretty good career, but to get there, I went through a lot of hills, a lot of bumps. So I would tell my 18-year-old self to focus a little bit more on what the goal is. That's probably what I would say.
Focus on the goal. Mr. J Key, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
I know I would tell myself to
don't buy that t-shirt press.
That's most definitely. But I think I tried to be too old at a young age. I was trying to do too much, and I really got myself in a bind trying to do too much. And I was trying to work when I didn't need to work, so that messed up a lot of USM stuff. We'll talk about that later on. But I would say take your time. I would tell myself take my time. Yeah, take my time.
I like it. Mr. JP.
What I would tell my 18-year-old self, instead of one, I tell myself two things. Do not get a degree in coaching and teaching. get a degree and something gonna make some money. I'm just joking. The next thing I tell myself, if you see a light-skinned fella working at Radio Shack and trying to get you to buy a computer, don't do it. He will mess your credit up. He will say,
"Get you a deal. Get you a deal.
You got a great deal.
You got a great deal.
But you didn't tell me about the interest rate. You said, yeah, I'm gonna buy this computer. This computer costs $400. Well, I get the bill, it's $800. Where did the other $4 come from? Next thing you know, credit shot. no, but seriously, like Ashley said, get a credit card. You know, you don't have to overspend. But I go back and tell my 18-year-old self this: start off with one credit card, but make a small purchase and pay it off that way. Slowly build my credit, and once you get it established where it needs to be, 720, you know, whatever it needs to be, then once you get your job, now you have credit to get yourself started, and then don't overlive your means. You know, go ahead and make sure you put a life in the budget.
Gotcha. Mr. Kelly, the star of the party, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
I'd tell myself two things. One, learn the budget. Sadly, it wasn't YouTube and nothing like that back then. But you know, even just being more open about just somebody that look like they doing good financially, just like trying to find a financial mentor of some sort. But then two, learn to live off 75%, man. Like before you start making money, going from 0 to 75% of your income is easy. But once you get used to living off of 100, it's real hard to dial it back and start putting aside, you know, even, you know, 10%, you know, because life keeps going. Your money don't always keep up sometimes. So if you start out not used to spending all your money and used to putting something aside, and even if you just saving it, eventually when you start, you know, learning about investing, you got something that you can, you know, kind of play with and start learning and invest as well. So those two things I would tell myself.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
I can't hear y'all. So, Rod, can you take it up for a second while I try to get my headphones together?
Yeah, I got you. Terrence getting connected here again. There's always great information, guys. We want to make sure that us as African Americans are doing what we need to do financially, not just for us, but also our community. You know, take heed to what everyone said and be mindful of your credit. You know, as much as you can, learn about credit scores, learn about investing, learn about credit cards. Don't be afraid to invest or buy a house, and don't be afraid to check your credit score. You know, that myth of, oh man, if I check my credit score, it's gonna make my credit score down. Well, how you gonna know what you got if you don't check it? And so,
and if people don't know, you get one free credit score a year. You can apply for it and get it free.
And most people, if you have credit cards, they're attached to like FICA and everything else, and they give you like a snapshot. It's not official, but it give you an idea. But like Willie said, you get one free every year. So take advantage of that and see what your credit score is. You can't work on something if you don't know what it is. So
that's true.
Hey, and Rod, and a lot of people, they get overwhelmed if they are behind or have a lot of debt. They get overwhelmed with it and try to pay everything back at once. In reality, you can't do it. You got to go ahead and work small. Pay off your small bills, and you don't have to put everything in it to pay the small bill. Just go ahead and chip away, paying on principal, paying on stuff like that. And then eventually you'll start seeing your credit score going up, and you'll start seeing more cash flow saving as well.
Absolutely. And you know, just like we talked about fatherhood, everybody's situation is going to be different. You know, my financial situation as far as school, it was different. You know, I was lucky enough to get what I got and was able to do the things that I was able to do. You know, don't try to be like me. You know, student loans are okay. You know, I got student loans. I just didn't have to get as many through scholarships and working. But I had to work for mine. I was physically at a job every day. And so, you know, everybody's situation is different. Don't worry about it. You know, you can do it. Just apply, do something. Don't, please, whatever you do. As my mama say, you can't just sit around my house and do nothing. Get up and do something. Anybody else got a thought they want to add? I know Terrence got the final thought today. We don't want to leave that thought out.
Yeah, you don't want to get yelled at, man.
He already started out hiding here.
Don't tell him.
I don't think you'll get yelled at. You just get talked to at a very loud voice.
Oh no.
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, I can hear y'all now. Somebody called and everything just went crazy. So, are we at a good point to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, waiting on that final word.
Gotcha. The final word is if I have to say something to my 18-year-old self, what I tell myself is to get around some good people. Get around some good people. People who are going to push you, but not only push you, but also encourage you. And I think that's what I did when at 18. I got around some really good guys, some guys who were smarter than me. So I knew that if I wanted to be a little bit more successful, I just learned from them. And they made me a much better person just from being around y'all. So I want to appreciate you guys for helping me be financially secure by watching what y'all did. When I probably did the wrong thing, y'all did the right thing, and I can learn from y'all from y'all success. But next week, what I want to try to the topic for next week is remakes. If I know everybody, hopefully everybody probably heard about or got into that new Bel Air, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. What do y'all think about remakes? I was driving home from Auburn, Alabama the other day, and I heard a song by a new artist. It was The Girl with the Tattoo. Miguel made that song 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Somebody already remaking it. I heard Prodigy from Andre 3000. Somebody already remade that. How do y'all feel about remakes? What's the time frame on how long you should do a remake, and how should you respect that original? So that's what I'm gonna propose to the group next week. The topic for next week: remakes. I think the person up to be talked about is myself, and I think who said was gonna do the hosting?
I think Rod and Eric, one of them two. I
You know who it is. He just trying to act like he don't. Really?
Yeah.
I guess we'll figure that out over the next couple of days. So next week, tune back in at 9:00. We're gonna get back into apartment 4A. And we're gonna talk about remakes, and then we're gonna continue to introduce another member of the crew. So I appreciate you guys for being on the call. I appreciate the couple of folks who stick with us during the call, and y'all have a good one.
Hey, Rod got some.
No, it's just real quick because we all from Southern Miss. Southern Miss baseball team just beat Mississippi State 7-1. So shout out Southern Miss to the top. Just want to put that out there.
To the top.
Now keep in mind, State was the champions. They won the whole thing last year, and we just beat them.
So technically,
y'all make sure y'all.
We the champs. We the champs.
Bring me my trophy.
Hey, them street rules, man.
That's right.
You the champ. You the champ.
So hey. We beat the champs. We are the champs, right?
Hey, I'm about 30 minutes from. I am 30 minutes from duty. Do we need to get control? I can get James St. Patrick up now. You go ahead and go get it.
Oh no.
We gonna call them and you gonna pick it up.
We're gonna end the call. Rod's about to end the podcast, and we'll see y'all next week.
Reach one, teach one, bring one back.
got my own room. So I was cool with that.